All right, let's go to World Series MVP bets. And this is a fun market to discuss for these two specifically, because you go back to 2018 when the Red Sox won the World Series against the Dodgers. Colin Whitchurch was on midseason acquisition Steve Pearce. I got a kick out of that last name because I'm a big Celtics Boston fan. So I was like, yeah, give it a Pierce. So Pierce was like, that was fun rooting for Steve Pearce. Anyway, and then last year, Sean Zerillo was on Jorge Soler from the Atlanta Braves, and he got that pick right as well. So you guys are pretty good when it comes to the MVP picks. But Zerillo, why don't you discuss who you like in this year's World Series and maybe some keys to betting this market? Like what comes to mind? Pitching, hitting, whichever angle you want to take first.
Historically, 60% of the winners have been hitters, but 12 out of the first 14 winners were pitchers. So since that first 14-year run, about 70% of the winners have been hitters. You certainly, if you're going to focus on pitchers, want to focus on the game one starters because they'll have an opportunity to pitch 3 times in the series. Games 1, 4 on short rest, and then potentially 7 on short rest, or 1 and 5 on short rest. 1 and 5 on normal rest, and then game 7, maybe in relief on short rest. That's the Madison Bumgarner path that we've seen in the past. But even guys like Josh Beckett have won the award just pitching 2 games, getting 2 wins and getting out of there. So you certainly want to focus on the top 2 starters for each team, which would be Verlander and Framber Valdez, and then Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. Based on where the odds are currently, it's looking like Aaron Nola is going to get that game 1 start for the Phillies because the odds have shortened up relative to where Wheeler's are at some books. I'm expecting Nola to start in game 1, whoever it is, Nola or Wheeler, around 20-1. I got as high as 25-1 on Nola. When I bet it, I would look to bet on the Phillies side. They are going to be vital to the Phillies winning this series and probably need to win both of their starts in order to get it done. Would also take a look at Justin Verlander around 15-1, 16-1 out there as well for similar reasons. Going in games 1, 5, and 7, 1, 4, and 7, however you break it down, will have a chance to pitch 3 times, potentially get 2 wins and a save or 3 wins in order to capture the award. In terms of hitters, looking at the Astros side, a guy who's hit really well this year. I also bet him to win World Series MVP last year, and that's Yuli Gurriel at around 25-1. I got 28-1. Not a substantial bet for me, but relative to the other Astros hitters in the lineup, he typically hits 6th every day, should get regular bats in there, both as righties and lefties, hits both lefties and righties well, hits all pitch types well. I know he had a down season this year, but he is hitting over 300 in the playoffs with the second highest weighted on base average on the team. He's about 403 in the playoffs. So Yuli Gurriel didn't play well this year, is playing well right now, and he's the kind of bat that you want in the playoffs, especially against high strikeout pitchers, to put balls in play and make things happen. On the Phillies side, I'm also going with their 6th and 7th, 5 and 6th hitters as well, looking a bit further down the lineup. That's Nick Castellanos at 40-1, and then Alec Boehm at 50-1. I think those are both solid prices relative to their other teammates who are going to play every day. See Bryce Harper all the way down there at about plus 650, plus 850. Guys like Gene Segura interested me as well. Bryson Stott at around 60-1, 100-1 respectively. Problem is Segura is another spot down the lineup, and Stott is not going to necessarily play every day in the series. Once the Astros put out a left-handed pitcher, they typically switch to Edmundo Sosa at shortstop. So I want a guy who's going to play every day. Want guys who are hitting in relatively prominent RBI spots, no batting order spot, essentially below 6. So a bunch of guys hitting 5th and 6th, and then the top 2 starting pitchers on each team. The last 2 guys I looked at who I did not end up playing, Jeremy Pena and Rhys Hoskins, both around 18-1, both the number 2 hitters in their lineup, would have wanted about 20-1 or higher respectively on either player. And if you can get that number, I think they're fine plays. Just wanted to search for a bit longer odds on guys who will also be playing every day.
Are you holding something against Kyle Schwarber for how he exited the home run derby in the summer?
No, price is just too short for me. I see that, 16-1, seeing him behind Bryce, hitting ahead of him in the lineup. I don't mind it. It's just not quite there for me. So wanted a bit higher of a price on any of the guys who are batting leadoff. The reason I bet Soler last year at 40-1, even though he wasn't guaranteed to play against righties, he was guaranteed to lead off against lefties, and he was going to get lefties multiple times in that series that they had against the Astros with Framber Valdez starting game 1. So Definitely preferred targeting the leadoff hitter last year when he was at a bigger price, but this year the price just a bit too short for me.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I remember you taking Schwarber to
Yeah, cost me
the
money since already this year. No reason to lose more on him, but hopefully he hits a couple of home runs and wins the Phillies the World Series, and I cash in either way.
Colin Whitchurch, what do you think as far as World Series MVP? What jumps out to you as far as value picks and how you go about betting this market?
Yeah, the World Series MVP market is very volatile and very interesting because, as Zerillo said, the logical way to go about it is look for guys who are going to be coming to bat a lot, guys who are going to be pitching in big opportunities. However, it is very fun and sometimes profitable to take those long shots because oftentimes the World Series MVP winner is just the person who came up in a big spot and delivered, which is why I'm looking at, while I'm in agreement with some of Zerillo's picks, I am looking at the numbers of some of these longer shots. Zerillo mentioned Bryson Stott might not play when lefties are there in favor of Edmundo Sosa, but he started to come around there toward the end of the NLCS, and we're getting basically an everyday regular starting shortstop at 150 to 1 at BetMGM. There's no reason not to take a stab at that. I think that's tremendous value. And on the Astros side is actually really hard to find a hitter with good value. Zerillo mentioned Gurriel. I'm going to be placing a bet there as well. He's about the only regular whose odds are kind of high enough to consider. You look at this odds board for World Series MVP, and like 6 of the top 7 odds or 6 of the top 8 are all Astros because they're favored. We've got Alvarez up there. We've got Bregman up there. Even Altuve's up there. Verlander's up there. And then it's just Harper and Schwarber in terms of Phillies favorites. So it's harder to find value on an Astro. However, my Steve Pearce special this year, someone who does not play every day, but if he comes through in his big spots, has a number that justifies it.
He's doing it.
Is Trey Mancini. How great of a story would that be, by the way? Gets traded away from the Orioles, finally makes it into the postseason. You know, we saw his battle with cancer a couple of years ago. Trey Mancini coming through in a couple of big spots, being the Astros Steve Pearce in a World Series win. I'm going to be on Mancini 66 to 1. Why not? Him and Stott are my favorite long shots. One more long shot I'll give out. Zerillo mentioned you got to be in. If you're going to pick a pitcher, you got to be in on one of the top starters. However, I do think there is long shot value on Ranger Suarez. I'm really interested to see how the Phillies use him at 100 to 1. I know the Astros kill lefties. You guys are sitting here laughing at me right now.
I'm laughing at Zerillo, who's laughing at you. That's
just I couldn't imagine a team that's worse to feed a left-handed starter to.
I know
they should consider not even pitching him in this series.
But
I would go with Gibson.
He comes in relief. He's a contact-oriented pitcher. Improved defense behind him. 100 to 1. All I'm saying, 100 to 1. Comes in and gets a save late in the series. Wins a game where he starts. 100 to 1. 100% is look, all of these long shots I'm giving out, they're not quote unquote best bets here. The best bets are Bohm, they're Gurriel, they're Castellanos. I'm in total agreement here. But there's no reason you can't throw 0.1 unit on Stott, on Suarez, on Mancini, because these are guys who are going to have opportunities in key moments. World Series MVP is unpredictable. Steve Pearce, baby. No reason they can't win the World Series MVP. I'm throwing a little bit down on these guys as well.